Happy New Year, Greater Latrobe. Welcome to WCAT TV Home Edition. I'm your host, Annie Duda. Coming up on today's show, we share how students have been spending their time outside of school during the pandemic. Reporters Ben and Luke Hamady take a look at the NFL playoff picture, and reporter Jaden Alisi discusses how themes in popular video games can provide hope during a difficult time. All this and more on today's episode. Attention seniors. Ads for Grads are now being accepted by the yearbook staff for the 2021 Ads for Grads section of the yearbook. Please let your parents know, and all of this information is on the senior high page of the district website. Deadline for submission is Friday, January 8th. The Latrobian yearbook staff is also in need of candid photos of all grades, preferably group shots that are clear and of good quality. If you want to be seen in the 2021 yearbook, please upload your photos to www.hjeshare.com/eshare. Use the school code GLSD2021. Please submit your photos ASAP. Girls in grades 7 through 10 are welcome to join a new girls' social club. Make new friends while having a safe place to discuss ideas and support one another. Topics include sharing interests and hobbies, YouTube and TikTok videos, favorite shows and movies, games, crafts, activities, music, dance, and sports, and more. Club meetings will be virtual until we are back in school. The goal is to support new friendships and help you make connections with your fellow classmates outside of school. If interested, please contact your guidance counselor. The 2021 Challenge Program Student of the Year competition is now open. The contest runs from January 4th through March 3rd. All students in grades 10 through 12 are eligible. To enter, visit www.tcpinc.org/studentoftheyear. ChickfilA Leader Academy students were disappointed when they couldn't do a large community service project for Do Good December. Instead, students took it upon themselves to come up with little things they could do to serve someone else. Reporter Addison Lemon shares some of the projects that students completed.
ChickfilA Leader Academy students couldn't do a Do Good December project like in other years, due to school switching online and trying to keep everyone safe. The students thought it would be best if they continued with the Do Good December project doing their own individual projects. Julia Pavernick, Jenna Bell, and Piper Party all paid for the person behind them in the Starbucks drive-thru. Lily Kessler, Sage Roth, and Julia Pataglia all donated 10 bags of clothing to the local Salvation Army. Tiffany Bash donated a bunch of toys. Addison Lemon created packs with feminine products so that her mom could give them to her patients who were in need of them. Allison Horner helped her brother recover and made food that he could eat after his wisdom teeth surgery. Caden Fikes shoveled his grandma's driveway as well as her neighbors. He also helped his sister with her ELA homework. There are many other projects happening like these. It's the little things that count. You make impact through action.
January is the perfect time to make some positive changes in your life. Here are some healthy eating tips from Sydney Leidecker.
Here are 6 healthy eating tips. First, you should eat breakfast every day. Whether it's something little like toast or something big like bacon and eggs, you should eat. Next, you should avoid skipping meals. Because whether you don't eat or you eat too little, this is not good for you. You need to fuel your body. Next, you should cut back on sugary drinks. Things like energy drinks, soda, teas, you should cut back on. Fill in any missing food groups. You should have a balanced diet when eating. Eat a balanced diet. Eating a balanced diet will help you maintain your weight or even lose it. And exercise. Exercise is very important for your health.
Students trying to live their lives in 2020 has been a challenge for many, but for others, it hasn't made a difference. Reporter Abby Williams spoke with a few students about what they've been doing outside of school while facing the pandemic.
I was able to ask a few students what they have been able to do aside from online. I talked to Chloe Arrett, Ashley Onega, and Madison Rosenko.
With school being full remote right now, I've had a lot of free time to do the things that I normally wouldn't be able to do during a normal 5-day school week being in the building. I mainly spend my free time hanging out with my dog, taking him for walks, which is normally something I wouldn't be able to do if I was in the building 5 days a week. So that's been really nice. Also, I've been able to decorate my room, draw and paint a lot more, which are both hobbies that I used to do before school started. in August of this year. So it was nice to pick that back up again.
I've been working and I just got my license.
Hang out with my boyfriend and my family. Haven't really had much time to do those two things because I work every single day between working 2 jobs. I go to Tech for Cosmetology, been doing stuff for that, learning more stuff about that. My schedule has changed the same other than during the pandemic I got the job at the pet store. Before I was just working like 3 to 4 days a week at the salon, so now I'm working like every single day almost after online school. So that's basically, it's really tough working during a pandemic and doing schoolwork online and missing out on your senior year. It's really hard. It was definitely a big change, but I learned to just deal with it, and I'm definitely getting through.
With the struggles of 2020, people can rely on the National Football League to get their source of entertainment safely. Reporter Luke Hamady will provide some insight on the upcoming playoffs with key dates and matchups.
After an eventful Week 17 with 16 games on Sunday, January 3rd, the NFL concluded its regular season and set up the new and improved playoff system. For the first time, the NFL has included 7 teams in their postseason per conference compared to the regular 6 teams in prior years. With this addition, the AFC and the NFC only have 1 team each that will receive a bye for the first round of the playoffs. For the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs finished the season with a 14-2 record, which was enough for the first seed. On the flip side, the Green Bay Packers controlled the NFC with a record of 13-3 for your number 1 seed in the National Football Conference. On Sunday night, the NFL released a schedule for the first ever triple-header wildcard weekend that will be taking place on January 9th and 10th. To start the postseason, the number 7 seeded Indianapolis Colts, with a record of 11-5, will head to the Bill Stadium to play the 2nd seeded Buffalo Bills at 1:05 p.m. on Saturday, January 9th. This is the first time that the Bills have won the AFC East and hosted a wildcard playoff game since 1995. Then the 6th seeded Los Angeles Rams head to Lumen Field to play against the 3rd seeded Seattle Seahawks at 4:40 p.m. on Saturday, January 9th. In the regular season, these teams went 1-1 against each other and should be in line for a great game for 2 divisional rivals in the NFC West. To finish off the day, the 5th seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady, head to FedEx Field against the 4th seeded Washington football team at 8:15 p.m. This is the second time in history where a team finished with an overall record of 7-9 in the regular season and hosted a playoff game in the first round. To start the Sunday games, the 5th seeded Baltimore Ravens head to Nissan Stadium to play the 4th seeded Tennessee Titans at 1:05 p.m. The Ravens open as a 4.5 favorite and will try to beat the strong Titans team after an unexpected loss last year in the divisional round. At the late afternoon game, the 7th seeded Chicago Bears head to Mercedes-Benz Superdome to face the 2nd seeded New Orleans Saints. 2 teams in the NFC made the playoffs with a record of 8-8 or less, football team and Bears, but unfortunately the 10-6 Dolphins fell short in the tough AFC this year. To finish off the wildcard round, the 6th seeded Cleveland Browns head to Heinz Field to play your 3rd seeded Pittsburgh Steelers at 8:15 p.m. In this bizarre season of 2020, the Browns have snapped their 18-year drought of not making the playoffs. The Steelers, however, plan to come out strong after a tough 2-point loss to the Browns in Week 17 with a lot of backups starting like Mason Rudolph. With a win in this key AFC North playoff matchup, the Steelers would break a 4-year drought without winning a playoff game. That is your highlight for the 6th playoff game this weekend.
The Steelers season has been one filled with ups and downs. Ben Hamady interviewed Steelers fans around the high school to hear their thoughts on the season so far and predictions on how they will do in the playoffs.
Hello, I'm reporter Ben Hamady from the WCAT TV studio, and today I'll be interviewing students around the Greater Latrobe Senior High School to hear their thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers season so far. Hey guys, I was wondering your thoughts on the Steelers season so far.
I'd say it's going pretty well. Past 2 weeks have been rough, obviously. 2 losses for the first 2 of the season.
I'm really liking how they're playing, but the injuries could really hurt us, as seen in the past 2 weeks. But overall, I think we played really well.
The Steelers are having a historic season, and I think they could easily rebound against a hurt Bengals team with key players out, including Geno Atkins and Joe Burrow. and I think the Steelers can finish out the season with a 13-3 record, probably losing one to the Indianapolis Colts or the Cleveland Browns.
With the Steelers being contenders this year, do you think they can not only make the Super Bowl, but even win it?
I think if they can get there, they'll win it.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to make it and win it.
Oh yeah, Ben, I think the Steelers have a pretty good chance making it to the AFC conference game. I think they could soundly defeat the Bills, even though
The biggest task is getting by the Chiefs, I think.
going into Arrowhead Stadium with all the talent Patrick Mahomes have alongside Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and CEH, I just don't think the Steelers have enough talent to beat that team.
Everyone thinks we're not as good as we are, but we're dangerous.
This is Ben Hamady signing off for WCAT TV. Back to you.
The start of the 2021 NHL season has been delayed due to how late the last season ended due to COVID changes across the league. Here's Andrew Nagy with a look on when the season will start, as well as other changes that will affect the league.
Here are some changes with this year's upcoming NHL season. The NHL regular season was originally planned to begin in October 2020 and end in April 2021, but the plan had to be changed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The league plans to hold a 56-game season in 2021. The schedule will also be limited by COVID-19 travel restrictions at the Canada-US border. With 7 Canadian teams, the travel restrictions will affect the NHL the most out of all the major professional sports leagues in the US and Canada. With the travel restrictions, the NHL has proposed an idea to have all the Canadian teams in a single division, as well as realigning the other divisions in the league. In mid-November, the commissioner stated that the league would be targeting a January 1st start, but that, quote, "We have to build in flexibility for the hiccups that we expect will come along and have to expect will come along with potential COVID-19 positives and contact tracing requirements, citing difficulties faced by Major League Baseball and the National Football League over the handling of the pandemic." Another change this season is that all teams in the league have added the new reverse retro jerseys, and some have had their new alternate jerseys. The NHL will start its season on January 13th, as the league opener will be the Penguins versus the Flyers. And those are the changes that you need to know for this year's upcoming NHL season.
Now that the weather is colder and we find ourselves inside with extra time on our hands, you may be looking for a creative outlet. Reporter Sky DeMalta has a craft that is easy and fun to keep the time from passing too slowly.
In this video, I will be showing you how to make this snowflake paper plate. First, you will need a paper plate, embroidery thread, needles, and paint. I want my background to be gray, so I'm mixing black and white paint. And you'll need a paintbrush. Your first step is to paint the paper plate gray. It should look like this when you're finished. Your next step is to thread your needle, leaving a little bit of tail like shown. You'll want to poke holes in the plate so you have the shape of a snowflake. Take your needle and bring it up through the plate, with a knot at the end of the embroidery, that way it doesn't go all the way through. Continue sewing in 2 straight big lines. Then sew your little lines, making sure they cross. Next, you'll want to sew on the details. It's okay if your plate looks messy on the back side. No one will see that part. Flip the plate over, and there you go.
Much like life, games often let their players experience adversity. Jaden Alisi takes an eye to Red Hook Studios' Darkest Dungeon and explains how the themes in the game can give hope to everyone.
Darkest Dungeon is a game built on a simple premise. Cleanse your old family home of the horrors that now lurk within it. But upon closer inspection, it is a game about tragedy and despair, but also about joy and hope. You'll constantly be driving these poor souls to the brink of insanity. But in this tragedy, there is hope. And in the face of adversity, overcome devastating circumstance. Darkest Dungeon is a fair amount like life in that sense. Without adversity, how can one expect to experience the joy of success? Without struggle, there are no heroes. And that's Darkest Dungeon's real message. The heroes you love don't come to be that way because you expect them to win. It's about people doing what they can in an impossible circumstance. The game attempts to show that heroism is not when someone succeeds who is expected to. It's about when someone succeeds who isn't expected to. The game presents a depressing, hopeless situation, and at times that's all there is to it. But there is still hope, even when it seems like there is none. And I think hope is something in short supply nowadays.
One of our weather reporters enjoys his time with weather so much that he finds himself playing weather-related games. Here's Ethan Mazurek with his review of the game Storm Chasers.
Storm Chasers is a very different type of game. It's not your typical first-person shooter or adventure game or anything along those titles. It doesn't really fit into any other genre other than adventure because it's kind of its own thing. Let me explain. Storm Chasers itself is made by one indie developer. He goes by Little Cloud Games. We're not really sure what his name is or anything else about him, just that he's a developer. The name of the game is pretty self-explanatory for what you're supposed to do in the game. You spawn in with a truck and a handful of cash. There are 3 different cities you can explore thus far in this game: Wakota, Byron, and Corwin. Periodically a tornado will appear on the map due to a storm system. The closer and better focus you have on a picture of a tornado determines how much points you make. I've sometimes gotten pictures up to 300 points. Also, capturing things such as debris in the pictures will also increase your score. However, if you place a probe on the ground in a direct path of the tornado and the tornado hits it directly, you'll get 200 points each time the tornado hits it. Your score determines how much XP you earn in this game. Every 12 in-game hours, whatever your score is, it multiplies by 2, and that's the amount of XP you earn. With said XP, you can upgrade to different types of trucks, remove the rust from said truck, change your clothes, and etc. It's extremely fun and addicting, and the best part is, since the guy is one developer, he listens to the community and has a game suggestion channel in his Discord. A lot of things that people have suggested in recent months have been added in the game, including a new map expansion coming soon. All in all, I believe this game is $15 on Steam. If you have the money and the time, I suggest playing it, even if you're not into the weather. This game's really for everybody, and I suggest it.
Remote learning can be stressful at times. Here's Emma Santora showing us a funny skit about the difficulties of remote learning.
Good morning, class. Welcome to our first day of remote learning. How's everyone doing today? Good? Before we get started, I need everyone to have their camera on at all times and their microphone muted. So everyone should do that now. First thing we're going to do is read a book, just to get your mind running this morning, just to get prepared for our lesson. Does anyone want to guess what we're reading today? Yes? No, it's not 100 Facts About Farts. Ava, I need you to unmute, please. Not elephants either. I'll give you guys a hint. You can have this animal as a pet. Unmute, Tommy. No, Tommy, it's not a seal. You can't have a seal as a pet in Pennsylvania. You have a pet seal? Bless your heart. Does anyone else want to guess? Quinn? You need to unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Your microphone is muted. Oh boy, just type what you think in the chat box. It's at the top of your screen near the right. It looks like a little message bubble, and you're still talking and I can't hear you. No, that does not mean all of you need to type in the chat box. And Bobby, that's an off-limit word. Please stop typing in the chat. Your dad says that word all the time? Okay, well, let's keep that as an at-home word, okay? Okay. Oh wow, look at the time. It's lunchtime already. When you kiddos come back, you need to have a whiteboard and a dry erase markers. We will have math. How was everyone's lunch? Good, that's good. Jonah, I see you have brought your lunch to class with you. Can you chew with your mouth closed? And that doesn't mean spit it out. Oh dear. Emily, I need you to stop jumping in your chair. That's not quite safe. How much sugar did you guys have? None? Yeah, that doesn't seem totally accurate. All right. Do you guys have your materials that I asked you to get? Yes? Okay, great. So write what I'm writing on the board. 8 plus 3 equals, this is what you guys should have. Do you guys know what this equals? I hope you're using a washable marker. A Sharpie? Connor, dear. Does your mom know about this? Oh, never mind. Let's continue. Yes, come in, I can see your dog. He looks very nice. Alright, guys, let's try to stay focused. Yes, Emily? Yes, I like your socks. Alright, let's continue with math. And Connor, you are still writing on your wall. Oh boy, this is going to be a rough year.
Are you having trouble maintaining your school spirit during online school? Alexander Woodring offers some suggestions in our next segment.
Hello, and good morning, Great Latrobe. My name is Alexander Woodring, and I'm here to answer the question that nobody's asking. But before I can even answer that question, let me ask you another one. What has been, during these long weeks spent at home during virtual school, been the thing that you have struggled with the most? Would it be getting up on time? Or possibly getting all your schoolwork done? Or even keeping your sanity? Ow. 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 If you have been suffering from any or all of these symptoms, then look no further, as I've got just a suggestion for you to put you back on your feet. This brings me back to my opening statement, which was the answer to the question that you didn't even know you wanted to ask was, of course, spiritware. Now, there are two ways of going about tackling your situation. The first way is coordinating your outfits weekly in a themed fashion. For example, you could have picked a business theme, or a sports theme, a Hawaiian theme, Now the trick here is just to be as creative and outrageous as possible. The more blank stares you get from your peers and students, the closer you are to solving your problem. Now my next solution will require you to put up all your pent-up wildcat anger and let it out of its cage. My second suggestion to you is to go out in public with your school spirit on full display for everyone to see. Now it so happens that I'm out of oranges. Well, guess I gotta get ready. I believe that was a success. Hope all these tips have helped you like they have helped me. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
Thanks for tuning in to WCAT TV Home Edition, and we'll see you next week. Stay healthy and safe, Latrobe.